your characters had of portrayals of women in TV at the time?
It's so interesting that show happened when it did, and there wasn't social media, and there wasn't Twitter, and all of this stuff. So for me, I don't think I really knew the impact at the time when it was happening, and it's been something that getting to meet people at events like this afterwards, and just the impact and how it's continued to make a difference on people, and also just seeing how those characters have other TV shows where then like, oh, we want a strong woman, oh, we want a Buffy type character, we want a Cordelia type character, so watching TV kind of unfold after that point. But yeah, it's been, I wish that we could go back in time, even though there's so many things about social media I hate. but like with Person of Interest or something, getting that immediate response of knowing like, oh, this is affecting people, this is making a difference. We didn't have that.
I think for Cordelia, back in the day when I was on Buffy, there wasn't social media, but there was like message boards and there were conventions. So I have been able to benefit from communication with the fans from an early age. But I don't think, though, when I was doing that the character per se was really resonating with everyone as much as it was later during Angel. So again, to reiterate what she said, social media, I can't imagine if we were on social media during Buffy and Angel, it would have just been bananas, cuckoo bananas. And I think like there are pros and cons to social media leveraging any kind of social movement or philanthropic work or just raising awareness around whatever. That's great, but I think the impact probably would have been at that age. It was already a lot, but I think with the impact at that age with social media, it might have been intense, maybe too intense. So I do believe like everything kind of happened for me the way that it was supposed to. But I'm grateful for the love that I get today, and I get to experience, people telling me how Cordelia has influenced them, which is always a shock. They're like, Cordelia's strength, and I was like, she was really mean. I didn't respond to her. Why did she resonate? I have to really, elicit that information because I really want to know. I'm very curious as to what era, if you will, people responded to Cordelia the most. And I think what I was shocked to find out is that Cordelia's, what somebody said to me yesterday was, it was just that she was so authentically herself. That she was, if she thought it, she said it. But it was always like her truth. And I think that for me, the person I was speaking with yesterday, that was inspiring because I have a lot of thoughts about and feelings about the way I move in the world, and I want to be able to be more faithful to my inner self. And that was inspiring for Cordelia. And then I was like, I'm never not impressed by your thoughts about the character or our shows. It's, why I love doing this so much and started a company about it.
Can you tell us about the company?
I feel like I've talked a lot already.
That's okay. All good. Okay, so obviously the world of Angel had a lot of creativity, and I want to know if there was any supernatural elements that you guys particularly enjoyed working with.
Wait, what's the question?
Like, which supernatural elements did you guys enjoy working with the most?
The supernatural elements were like not real. I mean it like
what?
Yeah.
The whole time?
Meaning like we didn't get to spoiler. We didn't get to I don't what do you mean by special?
I mean,
okay, so
the makeup or like that
kind
of
of
stuff.
Yeah, sure, yeah, we can go
For
that direction.
CGI. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was really fun when Cordelia went up into, I don't know, I think it was season 4. And she became a higher being and went up to the ether. And I literally was strapped in a body thing and craned up, and very high, hundreds and hundreds of feet into the air, and they did it on a LA freeway, like near a big parking garage. So I think it was like at 4 in the morning when they could just close the freeway and do that in LA. So that was kind of trippy. Is that an answer?
Are you afraid of heights? Like, or what was that like?
100% afraid, which also means I have to do it.
Yeah. Do it scared. I love it.
It's scared.
Yeah, I think while we were shooting, there was so much practical stuff. Like Prisma was saying, that people just don't do that anymore. Like you just don't. Barely. A lot of times people don't even wear like the colored contacts. They'll just change that. And so we got to really act with these people instead of like a tennis ball or a green screen. They put makeup on and they spent a lot of time and a lot of like artistry behind it. That being said, it was apparently very uncomfortable wearing all those monster makeups, and people would be very passing out, always complaining, itching, can someone touch, and it was like, I just remember thinking like, wow, these people complain a lot. It looks cool. And then I had to do an episode of Grimm and I had this makeup on and I was like, I feel like I need to call every single monster ever on Angel and say, how did you do that? It was the worst.
When I did Buffy, I only had to do a prosthetic one time. And it was when Cordelia got the snake bite on her face, and I had to go into the special effects studio, which was like way out in the valley, super far, like 2 hours away, in Van Nuys maybe. And they did a whole head cast. Did you do that for Grimm?
Yeah.
Oh, Grimm. And they did a whole, and I am claustrophobic. I have a lot of issues. I'm afraid of heights, being claustrophobic, and it was really frightening because you feel like you can't breathe. And so they put straws in your nose, and you're getting, it's heavy like clay or whatever it is, dumped on you or painted on you. And they're talented people. That's not to say that they don't know what they're doing. It's just like, it's a lot as an actor, like what goes on and what takes place behind the scenes to make this great, cool show. But the vampires would have to do that. All the monsters would have to do that. I mean, the show is demanding in so many ways, And I remember talking even with Sarah once, talking about how afraid she was of being in a grave or being buried, or and that's had to happen. Like, you have to kind of get over it, a lot of your stuff that you're terrified of. And I think that's personally a great thing, because you can grow, but also hard.
For sure. And especially like when you have to do it, for a show and everyone's watching you face your fears and that stuff too. Amazing. Okay, so obviously we have David Boreanaz here this weekend as well, and so I want to know, what was it like on set working with him and your other fellow cast members? What was the chemistry like on set with everybody?
I really miss Andy Hallett. Andy was so funny. He was just a dear heart, he would sit, he had these expressions like, oh, balls, he was like a old man in a young body. He just had funny old school ways of seeing the world and kind of telegraphing his experience to the world. So that was always interesting and fun. And speaking of a lot of makeup and special effects, he was going through it. I think that for the most part, the chemistry was fun and good and pleasant, and we did our best.
Supernatural elements. All right, we're going to take some questions from the crowd. You're up, my friend. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Kat, and just to give you a little background, I currently work for TSA. I'm a supervisor. So I have PTSD, anxiety, panic disorder, and it's not an easy job, first of all, and a lot of times being a female in authority, I'll be like, why is this dude losing his crap? Oh yeah, I forgot, I am a female. So I wanted to thank you ladies. We don't need to say any names, but for your professionalism in dealing with the things you had to deal with, to film this show and Buffy, and so thank you for your strength and your professionalism, no matter what. You're survivors, and that's what this whole show's really meant to me. If I was to get something tattooed, it would be actually from a Buffy book. They're kind of carrying on the series in book form, and it's something along the lines of, some things in life you're not supposed to survive, you're not supposed to win, you're not supposed to beat. Some things in life you're simply meant to survive. So I just wanted to share that with you, and thank you. And we all would like to thank you as well for everything you've given us. Thank you.